The e-portfolio experience so far. It started with me from a bit of inspiration from around the province as we started looking at removing letter grades. Also some inspiring work from BC EdChat, SBL, and Ken O'Connor as we take a look at what report cards were and what they might be. With the unfortunate part, of course, being that in the past, a bunch of numbers, a bunch of letters may not tell us what we want it to be, especially as we shift from reporting on tasks to communicating authentic learning. Especially when looking at report cards, how does it report on personalized learning? Student strengths, elements like disruptive work, the passion projects that students spend hours on shouldn't just be relegated to a percentage or a number. There's so much more that we can be working on. One of my aha moments came from when we started to incorporate the core competencies, which became very difficult, especially critical and creative thinking, because you can't say a student in grade 3 will show creativity by doing blank. Sure, there's been some journey problems, but that's why you take the journey to get through. Once upon a time, I started an e-portfolio using PowerPoint. Essentially, it was a chance for students to log what they've been doing over the course of the year and share at student-led conferences, and sometimes get yelled at by the parents saying, you shouldn't be able to do something like that. That's what we do. Anyways, it led into starting to want to add some pictures to the report card, which didn't work. We tried it a couple times, and it finally did lead into a bit more work around e-portfolios rather than just trying to make a report card do what a report card is not meant to do. To help out, though, we did come up with some ideas on how to track the different types of posts that we were sending out so we wouldn't be posting too many or too few at any one time. Focusing on, if you're looking at language arts, you can do a speech, a sample of reading, a sample of writing, and you're halfway done already, and it's only September. There's rules, and then there's rules. What I started working on a little bit was a bit of a Rosetta Stone, focusing a little bit on the attendance piece, which becomes very important in some learners' worlds, but also being able to have a couple of check-ins, how students are doing on some of the key subject areas, still compliant to the traditional report order, but starting to look a little different. Especially when you look at what report cards are used for, which essentially is sometimes, great things, we're getting an A in sharing information. What does that mean, though? That's where the accountability comes in. And with e-portfolios, you're able to put student work next to a standard and show how the students are doing to it. Keeps our teachers' feet to the fire and our students' feet to the fire. It is authentic examples of what the students are doing, ideally giving some descriptive feedback. I start with 2 stars and a wish so that we can make small differences rather than being overwhelmed by everything. One of the first places we used was a program called FreshGrade, where we were able to document what different students were able to do at different times, focusing in on everything from speeches to writings to readings, and as well as communicating the different events that were going on at different times within the school. If there was a need assembly with the BC Lions and a student was involved or not involved, we'd be able to add that to portfolio. As one of the teachers I first was working with noticed, as much as she was doing things very differently in her classroom than when the parents' older children or the parents themselves were in her classroom, what she was still sending home typically was the paper artifact that had always been sent home, not representing all the different changes that were actually going on inside the classroom. What the e-portfolio is able to do is show a little bit more, pull back the curtain, if you will, and show what's going on inside classrooms, especially the hands-on program, but more importantly, the personalization that's able to occur as students are working at their own rates and speeds on different tasks at different times, and not even tasks, focusing on different learning outcomes in different ways. Celebrating successes, showing growth, those are all key components that can show different elements of how an e-portfolio may end up being used. Easier? No. But instead of having 40-hour marathon binges, it's spreading that time over the weeks. And if you have a busy week, you might not post as much as you might otherwise be able to do. So the why and the what. I'm going to go quick here. There are a few different reasons for the whys on ePortfolio. If you don't know why, then you're just doing it. FreshGrade is great, easy user interface, and easy to put things up. Quio has an amazing back engine. Seesaw has an amazing group of learners sharing what they're doing. My Blueprint does a great job tagging and working from careers program. And Scholastic has done an amazing job at showing progression from year to year. What are we working on? We want to be working on ongoing learning so that it doesn't just end at 3 o'clock on a Friday, descriptive feedback as much as possible, personalized learning journeys. We're not all learning the same things at the same time just because. We're working on differentiating things because we want to be disruptive. E-portfolios have that chance to be the disruptive nature that education has been watching out for. I've been doing a lot of different starting points for this. It's not looking for making a report card do what's not supposed to. E-portfolios will get students into schools, and if we use e-portfolios, why not have all the kids on IEPs as well? Focus their journeys on what they need and what they're doing. Please share on my blog and on my Twitter any ideas that you have as we move away from the gradebook and if we have students able to do what they need to do. Thank you very much.